Hello! Welcome to a new series. After some conversation with a lot of folks, I'm gonna do something stupid and stream my, 20th, 30th playthrough of the Myst series. Little background here, Myst, I'm gonna fix this, but Myst for me is a series of games that, meant a lot when I was young. This again, blah, blah, blah. Inside baseball here. There we go. So when I was young, we'll skip some details just because it can make people uncomfortable, but I needed an escape. And so before I met my surrogate family and they helped me kind of escape, I found a lot of games that were talking about going to other worlds and kind of exploration and in some cases, isolation. And the Myst series is a series of games where there's an ancient race, it's still on Earth, but ancient race of people that learned the art of writing, is what it's called. And the art of writing let them take special books and basically create, or so they thought, worlds. And when the world was finalized, when it was good enough, you could click on or tap on the front of the book and be teleported to that world. And that meant a lot to me as a kid. That was a rad idea. I have played through these games, like I said, probably 20 or 30 times. I used to play every couple of years, but I'd realized it's been maybe 4 or 5 years since the last time I played through it. So I don't remember much of the games, which is great. So we're going to go through this together. I can't guarantee I'll get through all 5 games in Uru, but I will try. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new game here. I don't know where this other save is. September 10 of when, or is that September 2010? That's possible. We'll go ahead and hit new game. Yes. If there's any audio issues or volume level issues or if something's blocking, let me know. This is a new setup for me, so we'll see how this goes. Man, Cyan Studios, CN Studios, everyone awesome. A little background story for those that don't know me. I am not a real game developer, although I do try to make some games now and then, and I've been trying for a while. When I first started going to college, it was for programming. And that was
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure,
that's loud.
the book would not be destroyed as I planned. Continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse.
This is the voice of
I've tried to speculate where it might have landed,
Atris.
but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
So good. So we are playing the realMyst Masterpiece Edition of this game. The original Myst was built on HyperCard, which is an old platform of basically static images. And Cyan Studios, which was really at the time just, let's see, Rand, Ryan, and Robin Miller, I believe. They basically made HyperCard do a lot of things that they couldn't do. But because time happened, eventually a version of that called Myst Masterpiece Edition, where it was converted off of HyperCard and up-resed, came out. And then even after that, a version called realMyst came out. And realMyst basically remade the original Myst in full 3D. Polygons and everything, not pre-rendered backgrounds. It also added another world called an Age, and I want to be able to share that with people because not everyone's played or seen realMyst. And then recently, realMyst, well, I don't want to say recently, in the past decade or so, realMyst Masterpiece Edition came out, which again went through and kind of up-resed the models and added some additional effects. So we will play this version. I know it is not the true original version of Myst. I apologize for purists out there if there are any. But it is a version that I like, because I do like the New Age. As I was saying, we'll just click on this here. Man, that theme brings back memories. Alright, so this is a linking book, which is basically a book that think here. So there's a difference between a linking book and a world book. Usually one is one you bring with you to bring you back to the normal world, if I remember right. I believe this is actually the Myst world book. And what that means is if you were to write in this book, you would alter this world, or at least your understanding is you would alter this world. So, as I was saying, we're going to get teleported here to Myst Island. When I was in college, over 15, 20 years ago now, I wanted to be a video game programmer. I wanted to be a video game developer in some way. And, like, my dream was one of two things. Working at Konami on a Castlevania game. I could die happy at that point. Or working at Science Studios on something. Anything. I loved everything they ever put out. Even, like, old, ancient games that I found that were before my time, but, like, old educational games that they made. And the worlds they built were great and everything like that. That didn't end up being a reality for a few reasons. Number one, I ended up having to do full-time work and couldn't stay on the... went into the IT world rather than the programming world. But number two, Science Studios has had off and on again problems, which is super depressing for me. But it really seems like they're back. They released a game Abduction, and they're working on a new game right now, and they released a frickin' physical Myst linking book that is fully animated, and it's rad, and I have one sitting behind me. So it's a good time. Anyway, enough intro. Let's start in here. So, in Myst, you wouldn't even get these transitions. Oops, that's the wrong thing to click. You wouldn't get these transitions. You would basically just get instant teleportations. And realMyst makes this 3D. Now, this is not the highest fidelity graphics you'll ever see. Again, this game, I want to say realMyst was released, what? Where's the, Oh, there's a built-in hint guide. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I want to say this was originally released, like, 2005? Sounds right. I'm just going to overwrite you, because I don't know. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. See, I've already screwed up. We'll just skip all this stuff and get back in there. Okay. Now, what I meant to do was save... Ah. That's how you do it. Okay. Now, full disclosure, I'm pretty sure I know the solution to solve the game, which is something you can do very early on, but I'm not going to do that. So, I don't, because I want to experience the worlds, and I don't remember everything about the worlds. So this is Myst Island. We're going to, full disclosure, there's going to be a lot of reading in this game. There's also voiceover and everything like that, but there's a lot of things about books that are very important. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Nope, nope, nope. Here we go. I don't know. I don't know the constellations yet. We'll have to look. Alright, so let's explore the island a bit. Got a sweet rocket. Can't get in there yet. So if I had been thinking before I started Animal Crossing New Horizons, I would have made sure that my town center was near the back of the island, or the front, and made Myst Island. But alas, I cannot. Alright, so those of you that know what Myst is, you know the importance of this room. Those of you that don't know what Myst is, let's meet the brothers. Right? Nothing there. But
Monsieur? Is that you? Who are you? See you. You know. Help me. Bring me blue pages.
find the blue pages. So that was Akinar. He wants us to find the blue pages. Nothing here, right?
Who are you? Bring me a red page.
All right. So now we got a quest, right? Find the blue and red pages. Figure out why the hell there's books with portals to dudes on them. All right, time for some reading. You can see there's been some kind of fire here. While you do not understand why yet, this is really fucked up. It has been a while since I have heard only silence, and I enjoy it greatly, I think. For some reason, I do not feel altogether welcome in this new world in which I've arrived. But how could I be unwelcome in an age with no inhabitants? It is, of course, only in my head. This world is very beautiful. But I think I've yet to ever write in a journal that an age I've linked to is a horrid or disgusting. From the grassy hill where I am standing, I can see green fields below through the scattered forests. Large lake looms some distance from where I am standing. Yet the water's blue can be seen plainly from here. The air is fresh, the sky is sparkled with white clouds. It's absolutely breathtaking. And yet, that strange feeling again. Perhaps it's a hot breeze that continues to blow from the north, hotter than I had imagined. It almost singes my skin, and I feel quite uncomfortable when it comes. I'll try to ignore it. Night has almost arrived, and the sunset is spectacular. Oranges and reds have settled above the western horizon. Though night has come, the horizon still glows red long past the sunset. Dark reds flow from the horizon and blend into the black sky. Again, the feeling. I'm beginning to believe it is not all in my mind. I must sleep now. I'll need my strength to explore more tomorrow. I've had to return home due to an unpredictable natural occurrence more frightening than I've ever experienced. I was awakened by terrible shakings in the ground and explosions on all sides of me. Gigantic balls of fire were falling from the sky, and I immediately left for fear of my life. I must remember to bring a Myst linking book with me when I return, in case the one left there has been destroyed or damaged. I've returned to a different world than the one I left only 3 months ago. It's been transformed into a barren desert land, with only gigantic craters scattered across the land to provide variety. Strangely enough, the small grassy hill where I spent my first night remains exactly the way I found it. Apparently, the falling meteors did not hit this area, leaving an oasis in the midst of this horrible desolation. The hot wind, I remember, has turned into a rather pleasant breeze, which is at least one improvement. I fear it is the only improvement. The magnificent lake I saw on my first visit now completely dried up. However, another lake now exists and appears to be quite a bit larger. We assume one of these is the falling meteors created this lake due to its circular shape and the jutting rock that grows out of it in the center of the lake. The rest of the world seems like a desert, although I will verify that statement with closer inspection. Though this world has little visual excitement to offer, it offers much to the ears. Sounds constantly flow through my ears, and I found where a few of them originate. It seems, as Catherine says, oh, Catherine, I do find beauty in everything. Last night I was awakened by a horrible hissing. I was sweating, and the heat was so intense that I immediately dipped my head into the nearest stream to cool it down. The hot breezes had returned along with a low roar from the ground. I walked a short distance to observe some red flames shooting up from the earth. That's a problem. Suddenly, the ground began to crack, and a huge chasm, however you prefer, opened. The chasm continued to grow with its far too wide until it was far too wide across. Then the tumult subsided. It's almost tumult. That's a Game Grumps joke, leaving only a dull roar. I've decided, however, I can use this chasm to my advantage. Perhaps the heat from the chasm can be harnessed. I don't remember what world this is. Even as the chasm was ripped into the surface of this world, it has opened up a new world to explore. Although uncomfortably hot, I found it possible to reach a cave in the chasm that has been created, and have now explored deep into the crust of this planet. I found a vast underground cave system that will take many years to map and explore. I will also look for a safer way to reach the underground than through the chasm wall. This age seems to change on its own, so I feel I should leave again and see if things are different when I return. It's also important that I check on Cirrus and Akinar and make sure everything is going along well. When I return, I also hope to bring back some tools I need for my plans to explore the underground. The abundance of raw materials here is beginning to amaze me. I returned with some of the complex tools that I knew it would be needing. I assumed I would have to return for more basic materials. However, it seems as though I will be able to find everything I need here. Of course, iron is abundant, but I've also found titanium occurring naturally. That's... I am all the more excited to be in my work. Everything is set, and I will look forward to tomorrow. My raw materials are here. I think I will have to be able to have most of the additions to this age completed within 1 year. I so love working with my hands, whether writing or building. I began today on the bridge. On the well. 3 meters, not enough support beams. Oh, so they're talking about the rocket age. Would have loved to have read that. I'm leaving back today in order to bring back Cirrus and Akinar. I have left them alone in Channelwood. I believe they will enjoy all there is to see here. The age seems to have stabilized. I believe the meteors set off a period of volcanic activity by piercing into the shallow crust. But the tremors have become few. I've noticed that a large amount of this journal has curiously vanished from the pages on which I wrote over the last 18 months. Fortunately, I've copied many of my construction notes into another journal. I do not understand many mysteries of this world, but I trust I will discover logical answers to my questions. I have a feeling that many of my questions can be answered in another age, to which I hope to travel soon. But for now, I must simply accept this world's mysteries and take pride in my accomplishments. Alright, so this is important. I'm going to just take a screenshot here. That is also important. I'm going to take another screenshot here. And that's it for that one. What does that say? The Celestic Age of Myst. Okay. Ooh. Rhyme. Okay. We'll read this one later, because this is new content for this game, basically. Channelwood Age, the Stone Ship Age. Where is... There it is. This will probably be our first. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures, and it was. The sky here is dark and gray, and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. I met a very old man with a very long beard, and a hair that hangs to his waist. His name was Tom. He is very feeble and has trouble even moving. The man has obviously been through very many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He's told me an interesting story of this world's history. Years ago, he told me, there was a beautiful city that rose up out of the water. It housed many people inside its walls, and people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills, which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a lookout post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. People had no means of traveling on the water, which forced them to merely wait for friend or foe. Huh. So we had the city get there then. Hold on a second, move my microphone. As time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed from beyond the horizon. The people grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the usually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black ships appeared on the horizon. The lookout post attempts at peace were turned away, and the sentries that were there were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. Jeez. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. Black ships sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 of the survivors had died. He also said that it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they had started a year so long ago. I have decided, since hearing the man's story, it would be admirable to save the civilization and stop the enemy's plan of destruction. I'm excited about the adventure that awaits me, and an idea sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. I met the remaining survivors today and began work on a plan for protection. Take a picture of that. Gear room. After a short absence, I returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have, as of yet, traveled rarely with me and are understandably excited to be here. They've grown considerably since Everdunes. I don't know that name. It is already obvious to me that they will be a great help in this time, instead of a nuisance they've been in the past. All 3 of us, along with 4 of the healthiest survivors, begins construction today. We are building upon the old city's ruins, which will provide perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of my materials are stored. I'm very pleased with their intelligence and their creativity, and their creativity is refreshing to see as they work on some small projects of their own. It's been over 4 months now, and the construction is going well. My sons love the world except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky and tell me many times they wish the sky were blue like the sky in Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me the enemy is due in 4 months. We will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing. It's been 6 months of work. We finally finished the fortress. Rest between the 3 hills, which are now only islands due to a rising water level. Oh boy, that people experience after the attack. Inside the fortress, I've designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of technology called holography? It's supposed to be holograph, but I'm going to say holography. Holography. One of those. I began experimenting with it on my visits to Aspermere. That's another place I don't know the name of. We'll be working a couple of days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. Our track slope. I'm going to, again, take a picture of that. You guys can't see this. This is being in Steam. I'm taking snapshots so I can refer to them later without having to come back to the books. The enemy is due to come soon, and I trust the fortress will provide sufficient protection for us all. Take another picture of that. Black ships have come. Their attack was substantial. Their weapons have been stopped. And it appears they have turned away in defeat. I could not help but smile as I watched the boats leave. Last night we had a small celebration, and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I have had a healthy adventure and began work on a new book. Ooh. Once again, I must leave a familiar age in search of a new universe I have begun. But first, I will have to have an extended time with Catherine, who I miss very much. I must also return to the people of the Tide. I wonder if that's the boat age. I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will ease the pain of their bone ailments. Oof. They have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing and my fortress still strong. Though the skies may be black, I feel confident the people here will be... I am confident the people here feel heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. That's a good one. We'll be going here first. But I guess we should read the Stone Ship Age. Emmett was the first to live on the rocks. He named them the rocks because that's what they were. A group of shark rocks clustered together in the middle of a large sea. This is where Emmett lived. He enjoyed his life. Emmett would occasionally swim to nearby rocks, as it was never too far of a distance. One day, another person appeared on the rocks for no apparent reason to Emmett. Emmett named this new person Branch. Emmett and Branch quickly became friends, swimming and hunting for fish together often. Emmett showed Branch the simple cave which he lived on the largest rock. Soon, Branch discovered a place where he decided to live, also on the same large rock. The sun always showed brightly in their world, and the water was always dazzlingly clear, allowing them to see the deep ocean floor which surrounded them. Though the sun has always shone, it was never too hot for the boys. A light breeze always came from the north and cooled the area down. One day, while Branch was swimming and having fun in the water, he noticed another boy swimming. Branch brought the boy to Emmett to find out what to call a new boy. Emmett said the boy would be called Will. Will soon part of the group, and all 3 of the boys swam and enjoyed their perfect world. At least, that is the story I was told when I arrived today on the island. Emmett, Branch, and Will were surprised to see me at first, but even before the night ended, we were all becoming good friends. Oh, let's see here. Today, the second day on this newly created age, a strange thing happened. It was not strange to me, but the 3 boys didn't understand what was happening. While I was relaxing under a large tree on one of the smaller rock islands, it began to rain. It was a nice rain that lasted for about an hour in the mornings. I explained to the boys that the rain was not harmful, yet they obviously still feared it. Huh. Never been rain before. Before going to sleep tonight, I told the boys I would leave the following day. I told them that while I was gone, I would make a surprising change in the world. They didn't understand. Not that I expected them to. Still do not fully understand what happened today. I was experimenting with the art, testing the limits of the rules as dictated to me by Father. I attempted to create a boat by riding it into the world. I thought everything was playing correctly, yet somehow the boat had become gripped by the rock and broken in half. Although this step did not turn out as I hoped, I now have answers to a few questions my father never answered. As for the boat, I can see the boys enjoying it anyway, and with that I'm pleased. They played on it all day. Even though the boat cannot move, I enjoyed studying from it. It is a much sturdier platform than jagged rocks. In the course of my observations, I have learned some very interesting things regarding the solar system of this age. The nights are absolutely beautiful here. I made a note of it and named another constellations that passed above me. Also, during the night, I catch glimmers of light from the horizon, which I have not been able to discover if it's created by some natural phenomenon or by additional people. I should very much like to discover which. I rather suspect it is additional people, which would explain the appearance of Branch and Will. The rain today was slightly heavier than usual. Just when the boys were getting used to the light rains, a small storm arrived. They were frightened of the heavier rain, not to mention the thunder and lightning. Rain has never fallen here until recently, as the boys tell me. I would like to discover why it's falling now. Regardless, I've decided to return home for a short while. I've also been thinking of some plans for a lighthouse that I hope to construct soon. I think that perhaps by shining a bright light towards the horizon, it might prove my suspicions regarding additional inhabitants. I'd be curious about the light travel to its source, if they have the means. I returned with many tools that I will need for my construction of the lighthouse. I've decided that once the lighthouse is completed, I'll leave for some time and let the world's own imagination have control. We've worked 3 weeks on the lighthouse and now are making great progress. The rock that we are building on seems to not be as secure as I would like. I had to alter my plans slightly, but those alterations pose no real problem. The boys are quite strong and have been helping me immensely. I estimate construction will be done in 2 days. For a friggin' lighthouse? You guys are fast. The lighthouse is finished, and we are all proud of our creation. The boys are amazed at the structure wrought from rock with their own hands. That evening, we powered up the generator, much of the boys' dread at first, and shined a great light to the horizon for many hours. I stayed at the night at the top of the lighthouse, and in the morning awoke to observe the sunrise without my being coated with the chilly blanket of ocean dew I've become accustomed to. It was Will who first saw the girl. Aww. She was swimming not far from the boat where Will was getting ready to hunt for fish, and Will noticed a man not far away from the girl. Emmett was very pleased to meet additional neighbors. I feel pleased to leave this age. I've set in motion this event that have nothing to do with the writing or art. It will have more profound impact on this world than I could have ever written. I think. I think of it this age. That's a weird sentence. I think of it this age as a special gift to myself that I will wrap up and open someday in the future, only to discover that it has changed so much that indeed it is a surprise. Besides, I have yet another new age that awaits me. It seems I'm going to need some way to travel underwater in this new age, and if so much planning is in order. Oh wow, it's been 10 years since I left this age, which I have called the Stone Ship Age. Upon returning, I cannot believe the changes that have taken place. The original 3 boys have grown into adults, and there are many new faces that I do not recognize me. Branch told me that it has not rained for 7 years, and the cool breezes are back again. They're all very content and have been serving me with new foods and showing me new materials they've discovered. It seems they have found gold somewhere. I see it in many forms around the island. My lighthouse has been kept in perfect condition. It looks as if they've tried their very best to keep it so. They have noted the entire rock was built on a sunk probably... Ooh, that's a lot. 40 or 50 centimeters. After our wonderful visit with my old friends, I wonder aloud with them what things we like here in another 10 ages. Okay, so we need to take pictures of these. Constellations. Alright, one more book to read, and then we will continue on. Called this age Channelwood. I've called this age Channelwood. And it is a very different world. It is exactly how I imagined it. It is still amazing to see with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees, which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appear aged. I'm eager to discover more about this island and its people, but I have arrived here late and must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like primates, monkey-like people, heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. The response to me was one that I would never have expected. They're staring at me for a short time. Oh no. They fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they didn't understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions I was to follow them. As I walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colors. Slowly, subtly, it would change from a deep blue to a muddy orange, then muddy orange to a beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water, I hardly noticed that we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to their village, which was about 10 meters above the water, and could only be reached by rope ladders that stretched from the lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It's very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I didn't understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a meter off the floor on a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, colorful fabrics. Either next to the leader sat a very old man. At least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray. No eyebrows. Almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck. Did not hold its head up to look at me. But what a surprise. This creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning, and so it seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah, Atris is good people. It is impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He's adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken our language in ages. Give me a second. Had to hydrate. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt to the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disrupted by mysterious rumblings, which happened randomly. Some sort of tectonic volcanic action, I suspect. Sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees, where they eventually gradually died out, but maybe they were unequipped for such a violence. I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I'm especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own. Yet the old man believes the truth of the story as he'd been there. And the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if they were gods or heroes. The old man ended our conversation today with an event I will never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly and murmuring something about rest and asleep. He then said, "We'd expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help him, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. Tree dwellers surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while, he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door and off the narrow path high into the trees. The tree dwellers were silent and began processing down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body he had fallen onto a lower level walkway and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to a dull green. This morning I woke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway, which I had slept. It was a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon. I may learn more from them. I've lived on this world for 3 months off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and sons, and hopefully return with them. How? I'm sure Catherine will once again refuge. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Cirrus and Akinar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind, as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt that it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers better than myself. I'm leaving tomorrow to check on the Osmian age? Cirrus has just suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay, though the idea unsettles me. I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while. I will consent to their request. I warned the boys not to take the advantage of the respect the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warnings, and I have faith they will follow it. Excuse me? Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Fran and her people continue to be a menace by the Choctic. I fear their survival and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Cirrus and Akinar here. See Everdunes journal for more information. After watching Cirrus and Akinar, see they are handling things very well, and I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again. At least, and for a little longer this time. I keep saying it. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I am leaving, but happy that Cirrus and Akinar are staying behind again. Oh no. I've been gone for 3 days, and I've been to many different places. I had to tell Cirrus and Akinar about Pran's death today. They were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it be wise for Cirrus and Akinar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. They told my sons they'd be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly about their adventures, reminding me of my own adventures as a child. Oh. Finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from black, I thought they were, to various different colors. I've shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such sense of humor. Even now, I look through this very colorful journal. I cannot help but laugh myself. We will be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last nights here. They've told me that they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also asked if they can visit some other ages alone. I'll have to think over their request. I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Yeah, more about that later. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel. For now, I must give my farewells to the creatures, but I do not know how long it will be until I visit again. Alright. So that's our story hour. Almost literally. Let's do some exploring. So, this map is important. You'll notice that it doesn't do anything if I point it at this. So, the things that we care about Ooh. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber besides the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve these message. Yours, Atris. All right, let's do this. I think I actually remember how many there are, but I'm gonna do this anyway. So we got one here. Got one there. So we got 2. Got 3. 4, 5. 6. 7. 8. And so they said next to the dock, so they were talking about this place. Let's try. Okay. We said 8, so let's try 8.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine is one of our sons. I suspect Agatha, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Sirius as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine, everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you viewed it, just to be safe.
I vaguely remember there being something back here. So we're going to do a few things. One, we're going to save. And then I need to check... Yeah, no captions, unfortunately, but there's not a lot of conversation, so that's okay. Let's hit that button. On the back side. So the thing is, he said Sirius or Akinar or someone else.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine is one of our sons. I suspect Agatha, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Sirius as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long.
Okay, no, shouldn't jump to
Well, I've
conclusions
removed the
between
remaining
them.
undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return.
Okay. So, this lets you know that the brothers are maybe not to be trusted. So we're going to go to the mechanical age first. So we're going to hit that. And I don't 100% remember how to open the mechanical age, so we'll find out. So, you'll notice we got two paintings. One that looks like the entrance. No, three paintings. This one, which I'm going to go ahead and just, That reminds me. Need to go... Oh, good, we can't fast travel. Fantastic. Can't do it yet. Alright. The one that's closed. One that's open. Closed. Closes that door. And then opens this. around it, so we're going up. That's the library view. Which doesn't really show us much. This is the key, otherwise known as the hint. 240 and then 221. You know what? Got the ability to screenshots. Used to be I had to have a notebook, but we'll do that. What I would really love is for someone to make a VR version of this. The engine's here, right? They could do teleporting. There's enough physical interaction that you could use your hands. Speaking of which, well, I'm not making any guarantees. This series should go all the way through 5. That's my hope. Myst 5, End of Ages. And if it does, then I might try to play Abduction, which was Cyan's newest game, in VR. Alright, so it was... What? It was... Here's my screenshots. 240. And so to be clear, that is the puzzle. Like, as far as I've ever and if anyone knows differently, I've never found a way... like, there's no riddle around this. Okay, so this one is 221. Shit. Should be open. Now, what I'm interested in is we've got this available now. What does that show? To be clear, we're probably going to solve all these puzzles before I actually go to the Ages. Finish up Myst Island, basically. So what does that show if I point our photo here at that? Nothing? Maybe? Let's just check. Just wanted to check. Okay. Alright, so the next one we're going to do be the rocket, because I remember vaguely how to do that one. I'm an idiot. I forgot to turn the lighthouse. Alright. Go back down the elevator. Alright, so it's not that. It's this one. Is it getting dark? I don't remember it going to night here before. We'll have to check that. Oops. Too much. I did it again. $59 volts. Alright. That'll make more sense in a second here. Really getting dark. That's rad. I don't remember this. Maybe I just always got off the island as soon as I got one open before. But I don't remember it being like this before. That's rad. Aww. There it is. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3, and then 6, 8, 9. But, unfortunately, I blew the breaker. So, let's go fix that. Oh, come on. Hold on. Will you stop that? There we go. Where's the other breaker? Was that it? Was that the only breaker I had to worry about? I don't think so. I think I gotta get to that one. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Flip the breaker. Alright. Powered up. It's outright dark. That must be why they gave us a flashlight. I never knew why they gave us a flashlight in this game before. Or at least I don't remember ever knowing why. I don't think I've ever been here at night before. I usually just find, unlock a book and then go. Alright. Heck yeah. Now, real quickly, because I can't remember if this forces me to go or not, we're going to save. So, you'll remember that one of the pages I had some piano notes on them. I'm looking at screenshots you guys can't see. So, one should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. And then 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. I'm off by one, and then the next one is that one. All right, and then 4 is that one. Right? Yeah, so 1 is that one, and then 4 is that one. That one. 5 is what? That one? All right. That should be it. Hey, look at me! Okay, we unlocked the book. We're not going to go right now. We are going to save. Hello, tiny dog. My small dog, Miss Billy, also known as Miss B, misbehaved, decided to come visit. Yes, hello. Freaking moon and everything. Wow, how did I never see this before? All right, let's continue on. We've got mechanical age. We've got the Silentech age. We now need the... this one. Oops. And I don't remember which thing it is, so we'll do this. Now, I do, however, remember there was a certain... Alright. I don't know. Huh. Okay. Well, we'll go take a look. Oh, shit. You want me to go get the one by the boat? Don't know why I did that little spin, but alright. I'll take a picture of this. October 11, 1984, 10:04 a.m. No, go back. Come on. All right, so now we have times and dates for this one. I remember this room creeping me out when I was really young. I don't remember why. Okay, so our screenshot says October 11th, 1984, 10:04 a.m. October 11th, 1984. $10:04 a.m. All right, and that one is that's the leaf. January 7th, 12:07. Uh, 12:07. At 5:46 a.m. It's the wrong date. January 17th. All right, I don't know what that one is. I'll take a screenshot. So leaf. Could be snake. Yep, snake. And then our last one is, so we got leaf and snake. And then our last one is November 23rd, 9791. Jeez, okay. $6:57 p.m. Well, I got an achievement, so that means I solved it, but let's see what this one is. So we got leaf, and then snake, and then what? Spider? Spider. Leaf, snake, spider. Alrighty. That is 3 down. Got another achievement. Now we gotta do this one. I don't remember how the hell to do this one. Something with furnace pressure and a safe. And then there's a tree in the back. Actually, where the hell is the tree? There it is. Okay. Alright, let's go get the clue for this one, see if we can't solve it. And then we'll be on to the mechanical age. We might call it after we reach the mechanical age, but I might poke out. So this early in the game, the game does kind of lead you through the puzzles. This is training you. I'm on the wrong side. Oh, God. I also forgot to turn the... Every time. I'll be back. All right. 724. That must be the safe lock. I remember there being another book. Wait a minute. I could have sworn... Yes. So, I know what this is for, and I can show you. I don't remember which one we need. But, you'll notice that there's this fireplace here. Hey, why A, can you go in a fireplace, and B, why does it have a button? Got all these little panels, right? I don't remember which ones we need. We'll figure that out. But, let's go unlock the Channelwood Age. And it was 724. Uh-oh. Do I just not remember how to do this? How did I do this back then? How did I do this back then? I remember. Check. Let me rack my brain here. We got the that. Um, so we got this. Remember there being something where we have to turn off or turn on the gas here. Oh, wait a minute. I have to light the match. How do I light the match? I gotta remember how to light the match. It was like... Oh, wait, is it just... Fucking hell. See, this is why you don't play off memory. You poke at stuff. Hey, look at that. Right. Right. So the way this worked was... Get in here. You turn this all the way to the left. Wait till you get a clanking stop. Right. And then... It's, Yeah, turn right? Is it just that I have to wait it out? Think. Here we go. I think we're going the wrong way, though. There we go. Memory. I'm surprised there's not an achievement for that. Let me check. Huh. Let's... Now I'm gonna look that up. Is there an achievement for unlocking that? realMyst. Masterpiece. Steam. Channelwood. Book. Achievement. Ah, there it is. A real quick look. There's another achievement. So there's one more that is apparently something that I didn't know existed. It has to do with a nod to the books. Oh. If I remember correctly, Tiana was Hattress's grandmother. Very nice lady. All right. So, we've unlocked all of the linking books. Let's go to the Mechanical Age. What you will notice, folks, is we're not on Myst Island anymore. And this is where we're going to call it. I'm going to do a big old save here. This is Myst Island. It's a hell of a thing. Alright, this is Myst. Or realMyst in this case. This is a game from my past. We will be playing through the entirety of this, and then, assuming I'm still feeling up for it, we'll go through the rest of them, too. I'll figure out a name for this series eventually. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful night and a good week. Bye-bye.